Hi class, so today we're going to be looking at the start of chapter 1. We're going to be looking at integers and numbers and how we can relate integers and rational numbers to the world around us. So the first lesson is lesson 1-1. It's talking about integers and their opposites. So please write down the lesson number and the title in your notebook. You also need to write down the objectives every class period. We're going to be looking at how to understand. So we're going to understand, how integers and their opposites and absolute values are related. We're going to also apply this understanding to model real-world problems using the number line and to solve real-world problems. So Alexis was shopping. So you need to write down this question here. So we're going to be looking at 3 examples. Alexis was shopping on the ground floor of the mall and she realized she had left her phone in her car. So she had to walk back down 6 floors to her car in the underground parking garage. How far will Alexis walk to get to the ground floor? Get back to the ground floor using integers to explain. So you don't need to draw this diagram here. But this is what's happening. She's on the ground floor and she realizes, oh, I forgot my phone, so she has to go back down. Okay? But we can use a vertical number line, and I need you to draw this vertical number line here. So go ahead and create your vertical number line. So your vertical number line, okay? My question is, what does 0 represent in this scenario here? 0 in this case represents the ground floor. So she's on the ground floor, and that is what 0 represents. So if she has to go down to get her phone, what will -6 represent? This will represent her position after walking down 6 flights of stairs. Okay? It's the position of her car, right? So she's walked down 6 flights. So we can see here that she has walked down -6, or we can use these bars here to tell us she's traveled an absolute value of -6. So these bars tell us this is absolute value. Absolute values. Anything inside, once you remove them, is positive. So it makes the number positive. Okay? We then can see that she walks back up 6 flights of stairs. She walks back up. This represents the distance she travels. Okay, so we're trying to get in this mindset of how far she is traveling. Okay, so we can see that the absolute value of -6 plus the absolute value of 6 is equal to, she goes down 6 flights, and then she gets her phone, and then she goes back up. So her ending point is 0. -6 and 6, the only difference is one's negative and one's positive, so we call these opposites. So when we add opposites together, they are going to be always equal to 0. Adding opposites together equals 0. So I want you to go ahead and try this example on your own. The answer is -9 and represents the ground location. Okay? Example 2. So you need to write this example down. Samuel has $20 in his savings account before he makes a deposit of $160. After 2 weeks, he withdraws $160. How did Samuel's savings account balance change? So we're going to go ahead and represent this using a number line. So 20 here represents the starting value. It's the initial amount. Initial amount. He's starting with $20 in his account. We can then see he deposits $160. Deposits mean he's putting that in the account. So he is earning from 20, he deposits 160. So he is adding 160 into his account. So now his current balance would be 180. However, he then, 2 weeks later, he withdraws $160. So then we can see that he is withdrawing $160, so we are taking that out. So we're taking that out. Withdraw means taking it out, $160. So he is then back to $20 is his final amount, $20. So how has it changed? It hasn't changed. It's the same. Notice we could add the opposites together as well. The absolute value of 160 equals the absolute value of negative 160. Or the 160 plus negative 160 equals 0. And you know what? I'm going to pause here because I realized back here what I meant to say, not absolute values. I meant to say these are opposites. When you add opposites together, they are 0. You're not adding the absolute values with that. So I'm sorry for that. Going back, changing that. So just make a note of that. You needed to erase that. Okay? So we can see 160, absolute value of 160 equals negative 160. Adding the opposites together equals 0. Go ahead and try this one on your own. So how did the temperatures change? They didn't. They're back to the same, right? We're adding the opposites. All right, so our third example. One winter morning, the temperatures was negative 2 degrees Celsius. By 11 a.m., the temperature had decreased to 3 degrees. At 4 p.m., the temperature reached 0. What integer represents the temperature change from 11 to 4? So from 11 to 4. So we're going to draw a number line to help organize this. So we can see that the temperature was negative. So one winter morning, the temperature was negative 2. So at negative 2, this is at 7 a.m. Okay, by 11 a.m., the temperature decreased. So our question is decreasing. Is it getting warmer or colder? Decreasing tells us it is getting colder, so we will be moving to the left. Decreasing means we are moving it to the left. So it decreased, and it tells us 3 degrees. So we decreased 3 degrees here. So we have shifted 1, 2, 3. So we've decreased 3 degrees. So now we are at negative 5 at 11 a.m. Oops. At 4 p.m., the temperature reached 0. So now it is going up to 0 at 4 p.m. What integer represents the temperature change from 11 to 4? So the integer change means we are increasing by 5. So the integer is 5. Okay? Go ahead and look at this question here and then try it on your own. So the first part, what integer represents the amount, is negative 12 and $33. Okay? Please let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to working with you in class. Bye.